Welcome back to the finals of the Optimist International Caribbean District Oratorical Contest. Now, we also want to remind you of our sponsors for today's event: CPTC, Sagicor, and Jamaica National, Lasco Distributors, Progressive Grocers, Grace, and Honeybun. We move to Speaker D.
Staying optimistic in challenging times. Imagine this. Your biggest challenge is not finding a solution to one of your problems, but simply staying optimistic despite the problems. After my fourth attempt at writing this speech, I couldn't find my main focus. It was 12 a.m. and I was tired. On top of that, I received a message from my friend. He was stressed because his friend, we refer to her as Amelia, was contemplating suicide. I wanted to help as best as I could, but all I could muster were a few words of encouragement, telling him I was there for him. What could I have done differently to help him, to help her? What if she knew this chapter of her life doesn't have to be the end of her entire story? The more he became overwhelmed, the more I knew I had to do something that would make an impact on them in the future. So then I began to think about how my desire to see change helps me to stay optimistic during challenging times. My thoughts replayed our greatest challenge. The danger of the global pandemic isn't only that it has claimed over 6 million lives in the last 2 years, no, but it has distracted us by overshadowing so many other issues that exist, such as social injustice and inequality, such as the silent cry of a teenager like Amelia, hoping that someone someday would hear them. Personally, something was extraordinary about that night. Finally, I understood why I had wrestled with writing my speech, why I felt unequipped to help a friend in need. It was that a critical part of myself had been cast aside. But that part of me, which I had been ignoring, now was grappling to resurface. It was time for me to become whole again. It was the part that related to Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's success story. She inspires me because she is the very role model I aspire to be, and she does what I desire to do. I watched her remain humble while holding her head high under humiliating measures at her confirmation hearing. Such optimism. The image moved me to believe she knew there was something more beyond her present circumstance. It was no coincidence that on that same night, my heart relished the moment of a Black woman in America becoming a judge at the highest level. I had a breakthrough. Justice Jackson made me remember, if I believe in myself, anything is possible. Socrates, a Greek philosopher, said, "Let him that would move the world first move himself." At that moment, I couldn't look at what was in front of me. The most critical thing was not an inspection of my speech, but an introspection of myself. Am I, like Justice Jackson, hopeful, resilient, and passionate enough to believe that if I believe in myself, anything is possible? My passion and purpose have always been the hallmark of my optimism. And I remembered why I started my journey. I started because I want to be a part of the social transformation in this world, to take advantage of the academic opportunities that a generation ago only dreamt of, and to achieve self-actualization. But what if Amelia remembered why she started her journey? I thought. Today, I ask you that question that I should have answered that night. To what extent Does your desire to see change help you to stay optimistic during challenging times? Mr. Moderator.
Thank you. Speaker D. Speaker E at this time. Speaker E.
Staying optimistic in challenging times. It is said that time and chance happen to all. We all have our times of sunshine and our times of rain. Or as Frank Sinatra would put it, riding high in April, shut down in May. But what matters most in this life is not the challenges that we have, but the attitude with which we approach, perceive, and handle all our situations. Now, optimism, according to verywellmind.com, is a mental attitude characterized by the inclination to believe something good may happen, and by confidence in success and a positive future. Whereas pessimism is the attitude that things will go wrong. People's wishes or aims are unlikely to be fulfilled. Now, you can often see an attitude by the way that a person explains the events of their lives. Now, this is the exam season, and I'm working towards all grade ones. And my inner optimist is saying, yes, I got this. I can do it. I know that I can do this. Despite having to learn through that monotonous voice through the laptop screen, I know that I put in the work and I can do this. Whereas my pessimist, the inner pessimist, is going to say, I can't do this. There's no way that I can get all those grade ones. I haven't finished the syllabus. My teachers don't care about me. They may teach me nothing. I can't do this. No matter what I do, there's no way that I'm going to get those grade ones. Now, that just sounds like a sad life to live, doesn't it? And it is. According to an article called Optimism and its Impact on Mental and Physical Well-Being, the research suggests that there is a direct correlation between pessimism and depressive symptoms, pessimism and suicidal ideation. Furthermore, a dose of optimism is just the right cure. Reframing the thought process of a depressed individual can yield better results than antidepressant medication. People, it all starts in the mind. Do not die before your time by living hopelessly and by expecting negative outcomes. The ball is in your court, the same way it's in mine. We have the power to choose, and the battle begins in the mind. So, where do I start? You may ask. I will share with you what works with me. Start with gratitude. Gratitude is an appreciation for what's important to you in life. When I wake up in the morning, I thank God for everything I have. My family, all the bonds, everything that He's given me. You know why? Because it shows me that good things have already happened to me. So I'm inclined to believe that more are on the way. Next, set goals for yourself. I set out to get 6 ones last year, and I got them. And I'm setting out to get 4 this year, and I believe that I will get them. I'm confident in that. Set ambitious goals for yourself. Not the little weak goals, ambitious goals. You will surprise yourself when you realize you can do so much more than you give yourself credit for. Try new things. This is my first time participating in an oratorical contest. And the fact that I'm here right now means that I'm doing pretty well. So don't limit yourself by assuming that you won't do well. You can discover that you have a knack for cooking. You can discover that you can sing so well. I can't, but maybe you can. Prove to yourself that you can do great things, unimaginable things, as long as you just step forward, as long as you put yourself out there and say, I'm going to do it. Lastly, fix your attitude. Be hopeful. Be happy. Stay calm. Stay positive. Stay optimistic. We got this.
The power of choice. So I chose to be here this morning with Optimist International. And you chose to be members of Optimist International. Choice is important. More to come.